When we moved here in 2017, we really didn't know anybody, and we joined Vernon Pickleball Association within the first few months. We took some lessons, and the social aspect of pickleball, I say that, the best thing we did after moving to Vernon was to join pickleball, because we met so many people, all age groups. Not all my friends play pickleball, but a large number of them do, and we socialize outside of pickleball as well. And I think Vernon Pickleball Association, too, is quite unique in that we have a social committee. We hold, special events at different times throughout the year that are not related to pickleball, but to have people come together as friends. We're fortunate that we've been able to travel to a number of different places, and I know there's people who actually seek out pickleball vacations. We haven't actually done that, but we do look for places where there might be pickleball. So we have actually ended up playing pickleball in Mexico, and then we played on a cruise and met a couple who happened to be sitting at the table beside us on a cruise, and turned out they were from White Rock, sort of our age, and that they too had brought their pickleball paddles, and we were able to play on the cruise ship. And we've stayed in touch with them. They actually came to Vernon to participate in a tournament. And so you never know where you're going to meet fellow pickleball players who might become your friends.
Pickleball is just so social, and it's such a sense of community. And I've met so many people that I wouldn't normally have met there. And when I'm driving up to pickleball, I can just feel the excitement, honestly. When I drive there, I can't wait to get in that parking lot and to get in there, and not just to play. Of course, playing is great, but it has such a great energy there, and it's positive, it's exciting. People are so friendly. Honestly, some of my closest friends are people I've met at pickleball. There are so many new people there all the time. Every time I go there, there's more and more, and quite honestly, it's getting to be younger and younger, which is exciting.
I have made a lot of friends, and I was really lucky because somebody invited me to play in the Monday ladies group, and those friends are really special. And we celebrate all our big birthdays together and have a lot of fun.
You become friends with a lot of people there. Everybody that I've run across is so nice and helpful. We have people from all walks of life there, all walks of life. People at first were mostly all retired people, and as it goes along, you younger and younger people, and also with my family too. By them playing pickleball too, it brings the family together. It's just like any sport. Yeah.
Well, people recognize us as a family who plays pickleball around VPA. And, it does spark some conversations with some people that, I may not have conversations with. So, it's kind of broadening our community that way. And then also it's brought a fun element to our family because of our competitiveness and involvement and encouragement at tournaments. We cheer each other on, we celebrate our successes. At tournaments, you'll know where Wilcox is playing, which court, because there really is a herd of us that follow each other around. It's like, okay, court 3, everybody grabs their chair and moves down to court 3, and we're known to be loud, so it's usually a lot of cheering there. With family, it's been a great way to spend quality time together. That's, it's fun, it's active. We just really have a lot of fun together. And we play, again on the weekends or for different family celebrations. And so that's really great. I think my dad's favorite part is when he has the 3 girls on the court together. And my sisters have no mercy on him. If there's a high ball, he's going to get smashed at. In September, just this last September, there was a Canada-USA Challenge in Alberta, and there was a mix of senior pros, and amateurs. And there was 8 from Canada at each level, 8 from the US, and I was one of the Canadian amateurs. So I went, and I wasn't sure if I was going to go or not. And my daughter, my oldest one, she heard and she's like, "Mom, why would you not do that?" And so, I did some more thinking, and eventually, I committed to that, and she came with me. And, just went there thinking, yeah, she'll be watching, and, it'd be nice to have her there. But it was so memorable for many reasons, including that she was there with me. It's like, I didn't need a manager, but she was like that, telling me where to go, keeping score. And if you've played pickleball, that's the easiest thing to forget, is that darn score. And just her, encouragement and her being there. And it just really meant the world to me, and it made such a difference. Competitive play plays a big role in, building our community and the growth of pickleball. And it brings more visibility to our sport and brings new players to town. So that's always welcome. Tournaments create opportunities not only for playing, but also for, volunteering, and also spectators. So they can come and we really grow our sport that way. It also balances that social side with the serious side of pickleball. There's so much social side, but there's also that serious competitive side that drives a lot of us. Drilling with the same people, that means spending a lot of time on the court with them, but also time off the court. So we're goal setting. We're making a plan for what drills are we going to play, how that will all look, and how we're going to, meet those goals. So that daily connection just naturally builds, those friendships. And I've really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we train a lot. Usually a couple times a week we'll just do some drilling where we'll do some games, but it's also we'll both go into it thinking of something we want to work on. So if I want to work on resets or something like that, we can just work that skill until we feel very comfortable with it.
When we do drills, he'll watch videos, I'll watch videos of different people and the kind of drills they do, and then we introduce it to each other. He probably, especially nowadays, gives me more tips on my game style than I do on his. I try and avoid that coaching aspect. If there's something we notice, we'll talk about it a little bit. More than anything, if I'm talking and giving recommendations to him, it's usually going to be from a strategic standpoint on what I think we should be doing against these particular opponents and things like that. And I really have enjoyed lately, now that he's gotten so much better. There's a lot of other partners that have been interested in playing with him in tournaments, and that's left me on the sideline kind of watching, and I find that it's an easier place to actually see patterns and strategies that you should incorporate. And I'm having a lot of enjoyment being on the sideline and watching him play. And I've noticed really in singles matches, there's been a couple of people that have come back to me afterwards going, I thought I had him. Like, I was up 8-2 on him, and the next thing you know, he's taking the lead and he beats me 15-12. And when he calls a timeout, he's thinking the whole way through what's not working, what do I have to change, and he develops a new way of attacking the person. And I love watching those wheels turn in the mental aspect of the game and how he adjusts during a game and just battles his whole way through that. So that's been a lot of fun for me. I think the biggest thing is, both in baseball and in pickleball, he did see me compete in baseball, and we could share and talk about the journeys. Because we've shared the sports, we are able to communicate about what's going on. And when we're actually on a court together, there's times that he notices a pattern that we have to change, and he's very comfortable in sharing that with me. And, he's often really good at being my cheerleader as well. When I'm struggling with something, it's like, okay, you can make these shots and we need to focus on this pattern. So I think our pattern on the court is more partnership, than parent-child. And I think that's worked better for us than having, maybe that father-son role as things. We're really treat each other more as equals on the court, and we just share our opinions and try and keep each other up and positive going. He's very good at telling me when he doesn't want to hear me grunt after he's made a bad shot or something like that, if there's struggling going on, and what works, what we have to do for each other to keep them positive and moving in a good direction in a tournament structure.
Yeah, he was very important for helping me train, but also bringing me to all the tournaments and everything, which it just wouldn't be possible, all the travel and everything without him.
It's definitely a part of a lot of conversations around the dinner table and what's happening in your life. It seems like we're always off to a tournament or things like that. Whenever we have company coming out to visit, when you live in the Okanagan, you're always getting company coming. We're introducing them to the sport, and we have a court right close to our house, and everybody seems to like it. What level people get involved in it is always going to be different, but everybody seems to enjoy when they've played it. I think that's one of the things that's special is the different levels of play for people. You can play it, when you're 6 years old, and you can play it when you're 85 years old. And that's an incredibly special aspect. I mean, I come from a health background, and when you're dealing with children, one of the best things for brain development is eye-hand coordination. And it's also the same in an aging population. You see all the physiotherapists focusing on eye-hand drills as people get older. And pickleball provides that for young and old. And again, that's, for me, from that health background, I really enjoy how unique it is and what an incredible part of people's physical activity it can be for their entire lifespan.
I think one of the last tournaments we played in Vernon together was a very good one. We both played some of the best that we've played in a while. There was some very tough competition, and we ended up getting gold in that tournament, so that was a very memorable experience.
We have now hosted the BC Championships. We had 640 players show up from around the province, and I think we only had 20 or 30 from our club that played to reach that level, and it was astounding. And then last summer, we had Western Canadian Championships, another 600 and some players, and I think we had 100 and some in the waiting list, but that's all we could handle at the time. And in doing that, I must say that we rented the tennis courts that are beside us there, and we worked with the tennis, talked to the tennis club, and they said, yeah. So we put 12 more courts on the tennis courts, 12 more pickleball courts. So we had 24 pickleball courts to work with. So we had people from all across Western Canada show up to play in that tournament.
There's no comparison to playing on proper dedicated pickleball courts compared to playing in a gymnasium using badminton lines and temporary nets, or even playing on a tennis court with taped lines and temporary nets. But playing in a proper full-size courts makes a huge difference. And secondly, the volume of time that we can provide to the community has changed dramatically. When we were scrambling to get time in PB Gym and the schools in the evenings, we probably provided about 250 court hours per month. Now we're over 4,000 court hours per month with our facility.
This facility, you can show up 7 days a week, and there's 30, 40, 50 cars sitting out there, if not more, and it is used that much all the time. One of the things that a lot of people may not realize is there's NHL, NFL, well, there's now National Pickleball Leagues. And what happened was in the US, there's a National Pickleball League, and the people that got together and wanted a National Pickleball League in Canada, they decided to split Canada in half, Western and Eastern. and they got 100 players that wanted to be pros. And they played them for 3 days and then made decisions from that. Well, for Western Canada, they did that here in our facility. So we had 100 potential pros show up and play in our facility, and for 3 days, and that was amazing. And they just played along with our regular high-end players, and that was amazing to watch. So, and we have people that are pro players in pickleball now, and I've seen them here just about every tournament. So that's pretty exciting. So the impact, can you imagine if we have 600 and some players coming in, and the families coming with them from all across Canada, or at least Western Canada, and some from the States, then my goodness, that's a huge impact for between hotels and meals and restaurants and all that stuff. That's a huge impact for the city.
We participated in the Pickleball Day with the Downtown Vernon Association this summer. We also, for the past number of years, have done a food drive for the food bank, and it's actually my husband created what we call the world's largest pickleball Christmas tree, and that was a draw for the players to bring in food donations. And so we try to do things that aren't just specifically pickleball, but also are involving the community.
One of the biggest challenges that we're facing with Vernon Pickleball Association is the rapid growth of pickleball demand on the facility. There's a huge demand for the courts, structured play, tournaments that continue to grow, which puts pressure on their facilities and systems. Our volunteers, we have 12 outdoor courts that are covered. We address this by working closely with the city to expand infrastructure, actively recruit our volunteers. We try to ensure that we have clear communication with our members, manage expectations, and keep the sport accessible to everybody. Currently, in 2025, we have 1,200 members with 680 on a wait list. Our volunteers are absolutely essential for us to get to where we are today. It helps with organizing tournaments, schedules, everything that we do there. Without them, we wouldn't exist. It's a heavily volunteer effort that's got us to where we are. It truly is a family. When we call on people to help out with any tasks in the facility, everybody steps up without hesitation. We have a board of 7 at the VPA. We have 2 salaried managers and 5 part-time attendants that help run the day-to-day operations.
I think there's always rewards in volunteering your time to help an organization, especially something that you really enjoy and that you're passionate about. I think the biggest challenge has just been in sometimes getting media exposure for things that we would think that they would want to know about, and we don't necessarily get the coverage that we'd hope to get. The Vernon Pickleball Association in particular, I don't want to say it runs only on volunteers. We do now have some paid employees, but it is definitely volunteers who spearheaded the growth of the Vernon Pickleball Association, as well as getting the courts built and running and managing the facility, which is we now do have a general manager, a paid general manager. But everything before that was all volunteers, and we still heavily rely on the volunteers to do everything else that's needed in the club.
There's so many volunteers for each tournament. Like we need close to 200, if not more, volunteers on a big tournament. Everybody gets involved, everybody digs in, and away we go. And yeah.
I think I've helped in almost every tournament since I became a member, and we really enjoy helping. My husband isn't a member, but he comes and helps with 50-50 tickets.
I'm an ambassador. I wore my hat for your benefit. The purpose of that, the ambassadors, are people whose job is to welcome people into the club, show them around, show them what to do, make them feel comfortable. And so we have regular sessions where we will invite people to come and try it out, and we'll be there to show them how it's done and what to do. We do that, because, well, not because we want more people, because we've got as many as we can at the moment, but also because as part of the funding that we received from the city, we agreed with them that we would provide facilities for people who are non-members. So we have open nights where non-members can come and try out the game, and we'll work with them there. So that's my main contribution, though when we have tournaments, I volunteer for that.
So in 2017, we joined the Vernon Pickleball Association. And then in 2018, the current board, I think they realized that things were expanding and they needed more positions. We have a lot of different committee positions, from sponsorship to tournament to scheduling, health and safety. We have a lot of different committees, and it's all volunteer based. Our board is volunteers. The committees are all volunteers. Tournament volunteers. They asked for somebody to come in as the public relations volunteer. So I had a bit of a background in that, and I have been the public relations committee of one for since 2018. Just in the past year, I actually have got a few more people. I needed a photographer coordinator for the tournaments, and we have some dedicated photographers that do take pictures for our tournaments. With my role as the PR person, I look after doing all the media releases, looking for any stories that might be interesting, coordinating with other pickleball clubs, and also doing our Facebook page. And when I started that in 2017, I think there was 250 people following Vernon Pickleball, but there'd been nothing posted for a year. And that has really been our main way to connect with the community, with other pickleball players, other pickleball clubs, and we now have about 1,500 people that follow Vernon Pickleball. So it's been a really good way, because we can post photos, videos, and kind of get the word out about Vernon Pickleball Association.
I'm glad I got to join the pickleball community because it does mean a lot. I've met so many friends there, and I realized that there's so many people that have worked hard to get this club going. I've actually never seen a club that has raised so much money in such a short time, that now we have the covered courts. And in addition, we've got that new Herman house, so that we have office space, a kitchen, a boardroom, and washrooms. So, I mean, they've just worked tirelessly for many years, and it's all come to fruition, so that's great.
Pickleball is just a big community in general. If you're playing in tournaments or whatever, everyone's just also very supportive of what you're doing. So it's awesome in that way.
I must say, everybody is extremely nice to me. I don't know whether particularly nice to me, but they certainly are. So I always enjoy meeting them. It's nice to see people having the opportunity to do these things who want to do. We supply a lot of facilities for people, programs and tournaments and things like that. Works out well, you know.